And now to accusations of criminal conduct against the Obama administration. House Oversight Committee Chair Darrell Issa accusing HHS of criminal obstruction. That is after HHS told Obamacare website contractors not to release documents to congressional investigators. Congressman Trey Gowdy is on that Oversight Committee. He joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. So do you agree with Chairman Issa? And as a former federal prosecutor, is HHS, are you accusing them of criminal obstruction?
Well, they're perilously close. As you know, Greta, I'm going to need all the facts. Chairman Issa may have access to some that I don't have. I do know this: Congress is not a third party. So I don't care what the contract says. Certain contracts are void for public policy. You can't tell someone you're in a contract with not to call the police if there's a criminal act. You can't tell a third party who's been subpoenaed by a co-equal branch of government not to comply with that subpoena. And if there is evidence that Secretary Sebelius is instructing people not to cooperate with a committee of jurisdiction in Congress, then she's going to be in even more trouble than she's currently in, and that's a lot.
All right. Have you actually sent this subpoena to the contractors for information? Are they under subpoena to provide that information?
Yes, and there have also been subpoenas to the Department of Health and Human Services. And what's going to be very interesting is if the production is different. If we get less documents from HHS than we get from the contractor, that's also going to make our interest peak.
Are you going to do anything about it, though? I mean, there's a lot of sort of, saber rattling historically on Capitol Hill when subpoenas are ignored. And I mean, is there any sort of, are you going to enforce any of this stuff and really demand that if there's criminal obstruction, are you going to demand that there be an investigation and possibly a criminal investigation?
Well, Greta, as you know, Congress has tried that in the past with Eric Holder. We even held him in contempt. We referred the criminal prosecution to the D.C. U.S. Attorney, and it went absolutely nowhere, and now it's in the courts. We just had a hearing a couple of weeks ago about executive branch overreach or ignoring the legislative branch. We're going to have to do something. What I would propose is to send a subpoena duces tecum to Kathleen Sebelius to say, not only do we want the documents, we want you to bring them. She can't ignore that. And if she doesn't bring the documents, then we can either deal with civil contempt or criminal contempt. You and I both know the U.S. Attorney is not going to prosecute Kathleen Sebelius, but that does not mean Congress cannot. At some point, we're going to need to reclaim our authority to provide oversight. And it doesn't depend upon a contract that she negotiated with a contractor. It is constitutional.
All right, let me go to one other subject. The question of apparently one of the deadlines has now been extended. It was that you had to enroll in your health care insurance and pay by December 23rd. Now you have to enroll in and sign up by December 23rd, but I understand that the deadline now is the end of the month, a little leeway. Your thoughts about that?
I am all for providing taxpayers a legitimate remedy, particularly given the fact that Kathleen Sebelius so botched the rollout of the website. I have no interest in punishing my fellow citizens. I would like there to be more accountability of this administration. But if people need more time, I could have sworn she said there weren't going to be any more delays, but that was yesterday. Apparently there are not going to be more delays after this delay. I don't want to punish my fellow citizens. I just want a website that works, and I want an administration that tells the truth. And we got a broken website, we got broken promises, and we're going to have a Secretary of HHS that's in serious trouble with a committee of Congress if she doesn't quit fooling around with subpoenas.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Now back to the heart.